Hi there, welcome back to Fast Track with me, Thalia Pellegrini. Now, the city of Charleroi is located in the heart of Belgium's Pays Noir or Black Country, an industrial belt centred mainly around the steel and coal industries. Now, many of the factories have now closed, but it's safe to say the area isn't one of Belgium's prettiest. But, say one group of locals, that doesn't mean the town doesn't have plenty to offer to travellers. We sent Keith Wallace to find out more.
Yes, just a short hop from here, you can get to some of the biggest destinations in Western Europe. Brussels, Amsterdam, Paris, even London are just a short train ride from here. But I've come sightseeing in what's been described as the ugliest town in the world. The bottom fell out of manufacturing here in the 1980s, and when that happened, Charleroi, like many other towns around Northern Europe, fell into a very steep decline. 2 decades on, and the local government still hasn't cleared away the relics of that era, meaning it looks a bit like a giant manufacturing museum, something that's not gone unnoticed by 2 art students. Nicolas Bussard, eccentric inventor of the mayonnaise wristband, and the environmentally friendly, though slightly racy t-shirt shopping bag, and his Dutch assistant, who tends to lead the tours.
Hi, I'm Liv Weisberg and I love Charleroi. We're playing with a cliché. Like, everybody knows Charleroi is ugly. All the inhabitants will tell you our city is ugly, but what we do is to give a positive image.
So onto the tour then, and first stop, one of the town's old coal mine mountains. A Turil is what passes for a Nepalese-style trek on this adventure safari.
Our idea is to keep people surprised and to keep them excited, not to make a boring tour. So people think they're just going to drive all day long in the car and just watch ugly factories, ugly buildings and ugly people, which is not the aim. We also want to show, like, the tail is actually cute. It's made out of old coal that is not used, but still now there's like nice plants and trees growing on it, and it's a place where people go for a walk.
But the ugly things do come, and in abundance. We drive around the Ring, the big old dirty road encircling the city, and from there we get views of the rusting hulks that used to create the wealth in this part of the country, now long abandoned. One old warehouse is now an art workshop, run by a man who claims his name is Michael. He's a big fan of the adventure safari.
We know that Charleroi had a bad image all over the world, so it was a good idea for not for tourists, but for all the people to know, to have another point of view.
For me, it's very alternative, and I think it's the nice solution we can find for this type of city. It's to take a second way, an alternative way, and not using only the typical touristic way, like castles, church, and old-fashioned people.
It's something completely different, and that's why I wanted to do it. So it gives you a nice overview of what Charleroi was.
And here's the biggest graffiti wall in Europe.
And after the warehouse, we go somewhere very special. A street with a pedigree of its very own. The sine qua non of sinister. The very doyen of desolation. So this is the street the organisers claim is the most depressing in the whole of Belgium. And you know what? They might be right. But it's not something you're going to find in the official tourist literature. Tourism officials have, until now, been reluctant to endorse the safari, and that's because one of the destinations in the past, though we don't go to it this time, is the former home of Marc Dutroux, a man found guilty in 2004 of kidnapping and raping 6 girls and killing 4 of them. There's certainly a darker side to the tour, and one not necessarily condoned by the town's tourism top brass.
But I understand how it has shocked local people and the Belgians as a whole, just for that little, not little, but for that specific aspect of the tour. That's where it's more bad taste on this.
So this is a beautiful crane that they built from Nigeria. Initially it was supposed to be in Brussels, but no one wanted it in Brussels. So the only place they found to put it is like next to the highway and the Vibra in Charleroi.
But still, the tour goes on, and lunch, of course, is at no ordinary moule frit parlour. That would all just be a bit obvious, wouldn't it? And following that, we hike to an experimental music festival, which isn't necessarily fully endorsed by the local police. and then into a deserted metro station, which probably isn't either.
Ding-a-ling, ding-a-ling, ding-a-long, ding-a-ling.
The Belgian Tourist Board says it may be willing in the future to get involved with the Charleroi Adventure safari, but inevitably that would involve change. Certainly there'd be no more climbing under fences and maybe a few more mainstream activities like the very popular Museum of Photography here. For now though, Liv and Nicolas claim their venture is getting bigger all the time, just so long as the town doesn't ever try to modernise.
Keith Wallace reporting there from Charleroi, a town which may lack in beauty but makes up for it in character. Now, to finish the programme,